So just looking at that same job again that we put through, what we've got here is those three products that we sent through here, or what we purchased. And this pricing here on the side, this is sort of how the customer sees the pricing. So it's just the total value of what this cupboard's going to cost it. But what we've actually got, we've got tools to actually break this down, and we can see how we've come up with that price. So here we can see, just looking at all of the individual parts that are needed to build up this cupboard, dialing it in. So just the base back panel alone, so just that one base whiteboard, is contributing $23.12 in this scenario. So you'll have full control over in terms of what your pricing will be. I've just got some sort of stock standard pricing to give us something to look at. But in this scenario, we can see that board's contributing $23.12 to the job. This price is actually built up of two different sort of pricing mechanisms. One is how much material did we use to build this part? And then one is a parts cost. So this parts cost is actually broken down into two further categories, because what we find is this sort of will allow you to sort of encapsulate the true cost of machining throughout it. Because I know you sort of mentioned that you sort of do it a bit on a sort of like on a sheet rate, sort of in some situations. What we sort of found in the cut to size space, or this cut and edge sort of offering, is it doesn't really encapsulate the true costing of doing cut and edge or doing cut to size. Because the example I always like to give is, say you got two jobs, both with two sheets, you're going to price them out essentially the same. Let's say one of those jobs had 4 large panels versus 40 small panels. That 40 small panels is going to spend a lot more time on your CNC being routed out, and the gentleman that's feeding that into the edger, he's going to have a lot more panels to process and then collate at the end. So you've only really made the same amount on both those jobs, but one has cost you a lot more time and a lot more wear on your machine, which we haven't really allowed for. So by doing a payments or a price breakdown like this, we've tried to encapsulate that. And how we've done that is, say this base back panel here again, we can see here that we've got a handling cost. So this is a price, a fixed rate, anytime a new part exists in a cupboard. So here we've just got $2.38. This is to encapsulate the cost of moving this part around your factory. This part needs to be moved to and from the CNC, to and from the edger, to and from where the pickup dock. But what we've also done is we've actually got a variable cost that accompanies that, so an area handling cost. So this is going to be a dynamic price based on how big this part is. So as the part grows, it becomes harder to handle. So the example is looking at the rail on flat here. It's only contributing an extra 31 cents to the total cost. Rail's really small, really easy for you to move to the edger, move from the edger, that sort of thing. It's quite simple for you to manage. However, you got your large ones like the base back there, which is going to be the largest panel. It's contributed a lot more. It's a little bit harder to handle there, but still nothing too extreme. But if we were to start looking into some of the tall units, you'd see that one blow out a lot more, because those tall panels are a lot more harder to manage. Next is our machining cost. So same with the handling. We've actually got a fixed rate each time a part needs to spend any time on your CNC. And we've just done that at $1.98 in this example. And then same as before, we've actually got a variable based on the complexity of this part. So as the part grows, has more drilling requirements, it's going to cost more for us to machine. And this is trying to encapsulate the wear and tear on your CNC machine, the time spent running that CNC. So you're trying to encapsulate that cost into the total price there. This last one that's tapped on the end here, this is just for the assembly, because we did apply assembly to this one. So there's going to be additional cost there for us to then bring all those panels together and actually assemble them into a cupboard before supplying it. Obviously, the idea is we're trying to give you consistency in pricing across any job that passes through the system. Doesn't matter if it's a handful of cupboards or it's 20, 40 cupboards. You should be making consistent margins across every job that flows through the portal. And by doing the pricing down to this sort of granular level, you should have the confidence that your machining costs and your handling costs are all encapsulated into that price that your clients there are paying.